Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Super 7 Ultimates, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Wave 12, the 2003 animated series. We've got Leonardo, Raphael, and just up above these, we've got Donatello and Michelangelo. Big shout out and thank you to Big Bad Toy Store for getting the 4 of these figures out to me so I could check out for you guys. Well, I guess I could kind of show you that there. Let's do that. So I could check these out for you guys. The reason why I wanted to check these out is because these figures introduce some new articulation that Super 7 just quite frankly just chose not to ever do. Double jointed elbows, double jointed knees, and these just feel real better. You can actually have some fun with these, where Super 7 figures, you'd want to be careful because they can be fragile, and then the single jointed elbows, they don't get the range of motion and all those things like that with them. So quite honestly, not all Super 7 figures are fun. They're great to look at in package and display, but if you wanted to play with them, they weren't a whole lot of fun. These Super 7 Turtles, I think, are going to be a whole lot of fun, so I'm excited to check these out. So we'll take a look at each one individually real quickly. We'll open them up, we'll go over each turtle, check out the articulation, the accessories, and all that good stuff. If you're looking to pick up these Super 7 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they are all 4 in stock right now at BigBadToyStore.com. So links in the video description below for Leonardo, Raphael, Michelangelo, and Donatello, as well as pre-orders for the second wave, which has some of the other characters and all that good stuff. So make sure to check them out. Link in the video description below. But let's go ahead and check out all the turtles, starting with the leader, none other than Leonardo. Okay, so here is Leonardo, and as you can see, each of these turtles comes with 1 extra set of hands, its signature weapons, a communicator, and 1 extra head. So you can see we got the swords, we got the extra hands. So it's grip hands, open hands, fists for Leonardo. The artwork there for Leonardo. And then looking at the back, we get this look at Leonardo there, and it says, the selfless slicer with the tenacious twin katana. So there is Leonardo. Let's go ahead and jump over into Donatello. Hello, same thing here. Signature weapon, we get the fist, the grip hands, open hands, the extra head. He's got his bow staff, the communicator, and then he actually comes with an extra little accessory in there. He's got the goggles there. So looking at the artwork of Donatello there, and on the back of the package, looking pretty great. It says, the fierce fixer with the bold bow staff, Donatello. Let's go ahead and jump over to the goofy Michelangelo. Okay, so Michelangelo might come with the most amount of stuff. It looks like he does come with all the same things. So an extra set of hands. We got grips, we got fists, we got the extra head, the open hand, we got the communicator. It's kind of hidden, but it's in there. And then here's the cool thing. We get the nunchucks. So you got the nunchucks there. It looks like real metal chain holding the chucks together. And then you get the spinny twirl effect to the nunchucks, which is really cool. So really liking that artwork of Michelangelo there. Looking at the back, you see that artwork there. Looking really cool. And it says, the cunning comedian with the nimble nunchaku. Nunchaku? Is that multiple nunchucks? Nunchaku? N-U-N-C-H-K-U? Nunchaku? Nunchaku? Am I saying that right? I don't know if I'm saying that right, but he's got nunchucks, and that's pretty cool. But now, well, we're going to finish off with my favorite turtle. Not necessarily the best turtle. I understand they all have their strengths and weaknesses, but my favorite turtle, Raphael. Okay, so Raphael there looking very cool. He's got his 2 sides. We got the extra head sculpt and then the extra hands, the fists, the open hands, as well as the communicator there. One thing I didn't mention is, you know, each of these figures has their own like color background, which matches the turtle, which is kind of cool. So there is Raphael. They got the artwork there in the front, and then looking at the back, Raphael, the berserk battler with the savage sigh. I love the alliteration that they went with here, so that is pretty cool. So as you can see, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Let's go ahead and open these up. Different from other Super 7 Turtles, there's no slip cover or anything like that. From Big Bad Toy Store, you did get these in the brown shipper box, but there was still no slip cover. But as you can see with any of the other previous Super 7 figures, the box is actually the same. Now, I have Raphael as well as Metalhead from some of the earlier waves. I've never opened them because I just like the way they look in package. This wasn't necessarily a line that I was really collecting, so I never felt the need to open them, and just because it just looks beautiful in box. The cool thing about these older turtles is they really reminded me of the old school Playmates figures from when I was a kid, and that's what I absolutely love. So for me, that just kind of represents there. And I actually got those figures from my good buddy Quinn who actually sent them to me so I could check out and just have in my collection, and I always appreciated it, and I have them there just because, again, they look beautiful and packaged. But these new ones, I'm absolutely going to open them up and show you guys and everything, because these ones are going to be a lot more fun than these guys, just because the articulation is really greatly improved, and these things just feel really good kind of in your hand, messing around with and posing around. So there we go. This will be the kind of the comparison between the two turtles that I'm going to show you guys. They look to be about the same height. Raphael is kind of lower in the package compared to here. The heads are different sizes, but that's going to be because of the style of turtles that they were going for. So let's go ahead and jump into these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 2003 versions from the animated series. Let's go ahead and open up all 4 of the turtles and let's check them out. Okay, so here are the Super 7 Ultimates Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 2003 animated series figures. And you know what? To start this off, like Super 7, again, people love them, people hate them. They can be fragile. They have limited articulation. In general, they're great for display, but not a whole lot of fun to play. These Ninja Turtles got it all. If I'm being honest, yes, the range of motion could be better, you know, and everything like that, the articulation. But these guys are actually fun. Now, I warmed them up just out of extra precaution, because sometimes with Super 7 figures, some of the joints, you know, you want to be careful when you bend an elbow, bend a knee, you'll hinge the hands, the wrists, and things like that. So I warmed these up. So there might be water coming out of a couple of them, because water got into the Ziploc bag, unfortunately. But man, these guys are fun. So I kind of posed them out. I took a picture of each, and I'm just having a whole lot of fun with these ones. And that's the best thing that we can ask for when it comes to these action figures. Depends on what you want to do with your action figures, right? If you want to collect just to collect, cool. If you want to collect to display, cool. If you want to collect to pose around and take photography and do that stuff, cool. These Ninja Turtles will work in all those categories, whereas I don't feel all of the Super 7 Ninja Turtle figures, or Super 7 Ultimates figures for that matter, necessarily fall into each one of those categories. These Ninja Turtles are awesome. They don't feel fragile at all. Like, I'm not scared that I'm gonna break any of these. I'm not worried about it. That's the best part. So you can just have fun with these, and they look great. There's some good paint on there. The shading on the turtles looks really, really good. The accessories are cool. Basic, sure, but that's all we need. Like, we don't need these crazy things. They've got their weapons. They've got hands to hold their weapons. They've got hands to kind of gesture with fists and with open hands. It's just really cool. A swappable head for each one, and you get the communicators for each one. The communicators are all the same across all 4 turtles, by the way. There's no difference in any of them. But just a whole lot of fun when it comes to these turtles. I'm absolutely loving that we can play around with these and have fun, because again, I don't always expect that when it comes to Super 7 Ultimates figures, but the fun factor here is pretty nice. So let's go ahead and take it one by one. We're going to take a look at Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, Raphael. So we'll get in for a closer look at the accessories, the paintwork, the heads, and all of that for each figure, and then we'll go over the articulation and we'll close it out. Okay, so up close look at Leonardo. Here's just kind of the grinning, smiling face. Here we get 2 head sculpts. Here we have kind of the more angry face with the kind of the teeth showing off to the side there. And then you can see the bandana kind of has the more flowing in the wind kind of look to it. That is pretty good there. There's a couple, you can, when you swap out the heads, there's a couple of things. So I've kind of, keep in mind, these figures are still a little bit warm when I had first done this. So this neck piece could come off. This ball peg could stay in the head. So you kind of have to just be careful on how you do it. The way I do it is I put my thumb on there and I really push in, and then I, pull off on the head to kind of make sure that they kind of get them separated out. So just a heads up on that. You're not going to break it or anything like that. It's just, some of those pieces could kind of separate in there. But we got that there. You got the dual sheaths there on the back for Leonardo there. You can see the swords just kind of go, just plug right in there and you can pull them out. Blue handle with a little bit of yellow, and then black for this piece of the hilt. I forget. I know that thing has a name, but that's like the guard, so you don't grab onto the blade. And then just this like off-white blade color. To be honest with you, I don't really love it. I think it looks kind of cheap. I wish like a silver would be better. And then the same's going to go for Raphael with his size. They kind of went like this cheap plastic look to it. Again, not the end of the world, but I think silver would have been better, or, would have been a much better choice. I'm not sure why they went with this. I don't know if they just didn't paint or what the deal was there. So I wish they would have done that. But matching katanas, they are the same as you can see there. They're fairly soft, so not too hard of plastic, so I'm not really worried that these things are going to break, but do be careful when kind of sheathing them. You don't want to put too much force or pressure in there, you know, because with, you know, some of the Super 7 accessories, you know, can be a little fragile. These don't really feel like it, but you don't want to attempt it, so just be careful going on there. But there we go. And then looking at the turtles, as you can see there, a lot of shading in areas, which does look really good. So I really like the way it came out looking. All 4 of these turtles, as far as I could tell, all have the same exact body. So you're not going to have any differences in the bodies or anything like that. There are going to be minor differences in some certain things, right? So they all just kind of have the belt in the front there. But Leonardo, because he's got the sheaths, we get the shoulder strap that goes around, and the strap. The strap that connects to the belt there, that is going to be different depending on, you know, the turtles. Donatello does not have that, but his belt is different, so he could hold his bow staff there. Then as you can see, kind of the big thing is we actually get double jointed points of articulation that Super 7 just hasn't really given us before. So that is really cool. So you get the elbow pads and knee pads there to kind of hide the joints in there. They're like, so yes, we got double joints in there, and it's, you know, new for Super 7. The way they did them, if I'm being honest with you, they're pretty ugly in there, but they function well. Like, you get some decent range in there. Oh, and I'll talk about it with the articulation. The good thing is the elbow pads and the knee pads, the way they do it, they're kind of glued in there and they're rubbery, but it hides some of the inside there. Or the outside of the elbow. It doesn't really hide the inside, unfortunately, so you have that there. And it's interesting because you actually get swivel still within that elbow, so you could still swivel, you know, the arm, the forearm, the bicep with the elbow. So it's kind of interesting the way they kind of had done that. And then just to show you guys kind of an up-close look at the articulation on the inside. Let me kind of position the light. You can get some tilt going on with the body in there. There's no ab because of, you know, obviously the design of the shell and everything like that. I mean, you kind of get some tilt forward and back and whatnot that you're going to get, but it's not going to be a huge amount there. So just a heads up on that. Close-up look at the communicator. And again, the communicator is the exact same across all 4 turtles, as you can see there. It just looks really good. And that's it. So that is Leonardo. Let's go ahead and jump on over into, was it Michelangelo? I forgot which order I said, but we're going to do Michelangelo. Okay, so here is Michelangelo, and this is pretty good. This one's just kind of his smiling, grinning face there, and you can see kind of the bandana blowing in the wind. And then here he kind of has his big old, like, laughing, goofy face here with the open mouth, and that looks really good. Like that there. You could see that each one does have a different shade of green. As you could see, Michelangelo is a little bit of a darker green there. Again, they do share the same body. The shells are the same. The legs are the same. The hands are the same. The feet are the same. Everything is the same on these guys. So I didn't talk about the extra hands that each of the figures come with. So each of them comes with these open hands here, as you can see there. So they could do their high 3, I guess it would be. Type of thing, and then they each have fists out of the package. They each have grip hands on there. Now, Michelangelo seems to come with more accessories. He does come with the communicator, of course, but he has his nunchucks. So here are the nunchucka, I guess how you would say it. And the really cool thing is you can actually pull these off, pull the chain off, so you could get the twirling effect pieces here. And we get 2 of these, so you could do this. And it's like he's spinning the nunchuck there, right? If you were to spin it, he can hold it in his grip hand and everything like that. So that is really cool. And again, you get 2 of these. So you can do with both of the nunchucks, he can kind of twirl them around both. They are the exact same, so that is really cool there. The other thing, though, that is a little unfortunate is to kind of store these weapons, right? So you get the sheaths for Leonardo. In Donatello, his bow staff will kind of go into his belt on the back there. But Michelangelo's nunchucks, so he should be able to do this with his nunchucks, and you can see I have it here on his left side. But unfortunately, and I don't know why, the right side, the belt is just too tight, and it's glued down over here. So, and it's glued down right in front, so you could probably force that a little bit. I didn't want to force it too much to get to store the other set in there. Like, I got one of the nunchucks handles in there, but both of them seemed to be a little bit more of a stretch than I think it should have. So that was unfortunate, and I think it's not like he would store them both on the same side, right? Or does he? And so if I'm wrong on that, you guys will have to let me know, because I think that's weird if he would store them both on the one side there. But anyway, looking at the rest of the figure, looks good. You know, the shading kind of throughout all four of the turtles looks really nice. No complaints whatsoever from me on the shading and the paintwork or anything like that. So there we go. So that is Michelangelo. Let's go ahead and jump on over into Donatello. Okay, so here is Donatello, and here he's kind of got the angry head on there. One thing about Donatello, his head definitely sits lower than all the other turtles, so he's basically got no neck in there. But here, again, is kind of the angry head sculpt, and then here we have just kind of the grinning one there, and then you can see this one's kind of the more the hair blowing in the wind, and this one's just kind of the relaxed one there. We can swap them out. Yeah, see, since it's so far down, he's a little bit more difficult to swap out the head on there. So just a heads up on that. Definitely a much tighter fit. Looking at his bow staff, as you can see on his back there, it just stores in there. It's not the tightest of friction grip in there, so I wish it was a little bit tighter. So just a heads up on that. But here is his bow staff. It has a nice little wood grain to it, and then kind of the purple wrap there where he can grip onto it. A little bit of pliability into it. Doesn't feel cheap or like hard plastic, like it's going to snap or break or anything like that. So that is good. Donatello also comes with one of the communicators. He has the same hand, so he has the open hands. He's got the fists. He's got the grip hands on the figure already as well. And then what he also comes with is these goggles here that you can put on, you know, either head sculpt. You know, I think it probably makes more sense on this one. I just kind of have it sitting on top. Really, probably the best thing you want to do is kind of get this up under the bandana there, and then you can kind of put it on him there, or you can kind of rest it up on top if that's what you want to do. There, but that is Donatello, and then here he's a little bit of a lighter green compared to Michelangelo, so you could really see a lot of that shading coming through, which looks really good. Again, you can't really complain. Like back of the hand, the forearms, the biceps in there, and then on in front of the legs, in the front of the feet there. So that all looks good. Oh, it looks like a little bit of the glue came off on the belt, so just a heads up on that. But otherwise, yeah. Looks great. Now on to my favorite turtle, Raphael. Okay, so here we have Raphael. Again, my favorite turtle. He's the one with the attitude and everything. So I absolutely love him. Here we have another kind of darker green, and he might be the darkest green out of them. Michelangelo is also kind of a dark green, but as you can see, in my opinion, Raphael is a little bit darker, whereas Michelangelo has a little bit of a brighter, a little bit of a lighter green to it in comparison. But there we go. Here we have the angry head sculpt. So here, unfortunately, I do get a little bit of red paint there extra, which is unfortunate. You got the bandana there. These don't really swivel around like you can. I don't know if they're truly meant to. They move around a little bit. Looks like they can come out, but I don't want to pop it out in case it doesn't. You know, it's not supposed to be popped out. And then Raphael's the one where I actually have the issues of trying to swap the heads and see if, like, the neck piece. I had to use tweezers to get this out because it was getting stuck in the head. But looks like that one wasn't so bad. Maybe it's just this head. Oh, no, I got it fixed. So not an issue there. But here we have this angry head sculpt where his mouth is open and his eyes are kind of crazy there. And then you got this flowing in the wind there. That looks really good. This is probably my favorite look, so I absolutely love that. He's got his two sides, as you can see here, and you can keep them on his belt, which is good. But again, we get a really cheap white-looking plastic there. Red and yellow on the hilt of the side. Is it called the hilt? The handle. But these just look really cheap. I don't know why they didn't go with the silver on there. Very unfortunate that they didn't. It's just kind of weird. Shading, kind of the same shading throughout the figure as the other turtles get. Again, they all share the same body and everything like that. You know, Raphael comes with the communicator. He has, the grip hands on the figure out of the package. He also comes with the fists, and then he has the open hands as well. Kind of all the same thing when it comes to the turtles. So there we go. We've seen all four. Now let's go ahead and go over the articulation of one, because all of them are the same. And because he's my favorite turtle, he's the one that I get to show you guys the articulation with, because again, I just absolutely love him. The neck is a separate piece from the head sculpt, so with that you can do some good pivot going on with the neck. As you can see there, you can get the turtles to look down. Looking up is a little tricky. I mean, they can kind of position their head in the upward kind of direction, but not a huge amount, and then you get a full rotation in that head. Of course, the arm you can get to go straight on out like so. You can do a full rotation. Just keep in mind that that shell kind of gets in the way, so you just want to be careful with that. Unfortunately, there's no butterfly joint in there. The shell is right there behind it, so you wouldn't be able to get any real motion there anyway. You get the upper bicep swivel in there. Double jointed elbow gives you that much bend there at the elbow. I feel like you would be able to get a little bit more if it wasn't for the rubber elbow pad in there, but I also like the elbow pad being there, so you get that much bend there. The grip hands on all the turtles actually have a vertical hinge on there, as I just pulled that out of the socket, so you can hinge the hand that way. As you can see, the fists and the open hands have the standard horizontal hinge on there, so just a heads up on that. And then there's also the swivel at the elbow joint, so you could swivel at that bicep on the elbow, and then you could also swivel the forearm on that elbow joint. So kind of interesting the way they do it there. And then there's a little bit of tilting when it comes to the turtle, so you could tilt to the side a little bit there, and then you could tilt to the other side there, and then you could come forward. Let's see if we keep the legs straight. Problem is you have to kind of hold on to the legs to get him to crunch forward. So if you use the legs and the hips, you can crunch forward, that far, which is great. But if you if you crunch forward and get the legs back, so you can see there is some distance between the shell and the back. So he does come forward a little bit. It's not a huge amount. It's hard to try and keep these hips from not coming forward, but you could see that there is some forward motion on that body in there. It's not a huge amount, but again, there is some. And then again, there's a little bit of the tilt in there, which is nice. To kick forward, you can only kick forward that far. Let's see, if you get the leg to go out, then you can kick forward even more. And then you can go back a little bit, but the shell does get in the way. You can't get the legs to do a full split, as you can see there. So pretty crazy there. And then you got the upper thigh swivel in there, and then you get a swivel at that knee joint in there, so swivel at that upper leg and at the lower leg. Double jointed knee, and in here you don't get a huge amount, but you get a fair amount, I would say, on that knee there. And then foot hinges down, but you want to be careful, and I already heated this one up, but these hinges are very, very stiff, so you can hinge down that much, but it is starting to bend and stress the plastic at that foot, so you want to be aware of that. You can hinge forward only a little bit in there, but you do have a nice pivot in there, and there are peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So that is the articulation for these Ninja Turtles. Again, the Super 7 Ultimates don't typically do double jointed elbows, double jointed knees, so it's pretty awesome that we have these here. And the turtles by design, and I'm not the biggest Ninja Turtle collector, I don't have a whole lot of turtles to show you guys, so in terms of like ab crunch on turtles, that's pretty difficult to do because of the design of the shell and the belly, torso, and everything like that when it comes to turtles. So the fact that you get a little bit, I think, is pretty good in there, but what we got in here, I think, works, and it is a whole lot of fun, so I'm happy with it. You guys let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Okay, so for some size comparisons, I don't have any NECA Ninja Turtles to show you guys a size comparison. Super 7 Ultimates figures are typically a 7-inch scale line, but if you look, these turtles are shorter than Marvel Legends, shorter than Mafex figures, and I measured it. He's actually about 5.5 inches, maybe just a little bit over, so not very tall at all, but I think still size-wise look good and feel good. Okay, so that is the review of the Super 7 Ultimates Wave 12 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 2003 animated series figures. We've got Leonardo, we've got Donatello, we've got Raphael, we've got Michelangelo, and these figures, again, are just a whole lot of fun. Very surprising to come from Super 7 to add in more articulation, like the double-jointed elbows, the double-jointed knees, bicep swivel, all those points of articulation that we hadn't gotten on other figures. I would have loved to have gotten this articulation scheme on the Power Rangers figures that they did, but unfortunately, we didn't get that. But now, on the Super 7 Ultimates newest Turtles, the 2003 animated series line, we've got them, and these things are a whole lot of fun. I don't feel like any parts are going to break. I don't feel like the accessories are going to break. The hinges on the hands don't feel like they're going to break. I'm having a whole lot of fun. The quality definitely feels a lot better with these guys compared to some of their other stuff. So I'm really happy with it. Splinter, Shredder, Casey Jones, and I think Foot Soldier is the next wave, and those are up for pre-order. So I have links in the video description below if you're looking to pick up any of those guys. But these 4 Turtles are in stock right now, BigBadToyStore.com. So check out the links in the video description below. Give me your guys' thoughts on these Super 7 Turtles. I know for a lot of you guys that are collecting now that the 2003 animated series are your Turtles. For me, it's the movie line. That's my Turtles, or the kind of the old cartoon as well. I grew up watching that, but the movie, those are my Turtles. Those are my guys. When I think of Ninja Turtles, I think of that first live action movie. But for a lot of you guys, these are your Turtles, so I know you guys are probably excited and happy with these, and I'm happy to report that they're a whole lot of fun to play with as opposed to just display and collect. You can play with these. Again, a lot of fun. Give me your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and as always, thank you for watching.